action. Let's get it.
Perfect. Welcome to Dirty Fanatics United.
Falcon fans, Falcon Nation. Dirty Fanatics United is coming at you on a Monday afternoon. It is your boy Chase, Robert, and Cody bringing you your Atlanta Falcon content. Timeouts and Missed Opportunities, episode 123, coming at you live from Baxley, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. And Robert, where are you from, brother?
Currently residing in Bentonville, Arkansas.
Bentonville, Arkansas. Falcon fans, hit that like button, leave a comment. Falcon fans all around the world, we are talking Dirty Bird football. Robert, before we dive into this Falcons recap game of Sunday Night Football, what's been going on? How we doing? Big game. Didn't seem to go our way as we planned for it to go, as we talked on the pregame show. Initially falling short. Robert, your thoughts on the whole situation, man?
Well, disappointed, obviously. Way too many missed opportunities, but, you know, it is what it is. It was the game that we kind of expected it would turn out to be. Just got to learn from it and just, you know, make the best of it going forward and, you know, just tuck it away in the memory bank and just remember it. You know, use it for future reference and just grow from it.
The word you used there, Robert, Cody, we're coming to you right here very shortly. The word you used, Robert, you got to live with it and you got to just breathe with it. Grady Jarrett says we got to let it hurt. We've got to let it burn. We've got to breathe. Grady Jarrett says we still have hope here in the NFC South to potentially make the playoffs. That's the conversation to have here in just a minute, as I know all Falcon fans are ready to talk about, because it is very, very steep now for the Atlanta Falcons to make this postseason. Cody, obviously, man, we spoke in the group chat numerous times today, yesterday during the game. Falcons fall short. And it hurts big time here for Falcon fans, and not only Falcon fans, but for the ones that wanted to make the playoffs, for the guys that actually cared about winning Sunday night. The Falcons, I would say, the NFC. Robert, you said they told you they had like a 13% chance, 15% chance to make the NFC South now, to win the playoff, or to win the NFC South, make the playoffs. Cody, how are we feeling about this, man? Your team at one point held such a big advantage this season in the NFC South, and now you're relying on the New Orleans Saints to potentially give you a shot at a playoff spot after how well you've done this season.
Yeah, man, it's the only way I can describe it is sick, because I never want the Saints to win, ever. I wish they'd go 0-17 every year that they played. I wish they were bottom of the league at everything, but I'm not. I'll never say that I'm rooting for that garbage state and that garbage team ever, because this is the tough part about how much I hate them, because part of me hopes they get their asses blown out, but at the same time, it benefits my Falcons if they win. So I'm not rooting for the Saints, and I will never. I'm rooting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to lose. Unfortunately, we're just at the point to where we have to hope that our hated division rival finds a way to beat the Bucs. We do, and it's a sick feeling when you had a 3.5 game lead on the South. You had a complete chokehold on this division. I mean, you just did. You were in control of your destiny, and you absolutely let it slip through your fingers with running a quarterback that I feel wasn't healthy after week 10. You ran out your kicker, who obviously wasn't healthy. You could tell from the get-go that he was looking shaky. And you ran him out there.
Cody, why was that not addressed earlier this season, dude?
The only thing I can think is, and this is literally the only reason I was talking to a coworker today about that, because I got asked the same question. this is a thing for me. Is it comes down to Coach Raw thinking, hey, I could still put these guys out here. They could still do their jobs. To me, it's 100% an ego thing that you let get in the way. Instead of making a smart football decisions, you made an ego decision. Hey, I know my super accurate kicker's hurt and that he's, been 100, you can rely on him. You can get on. I still will defend to this day. A healthy Koo makes that field goal 9 out of 10 times. He does. He just does. We've seen him do it. He's done it multiple times. Koo makes that field goal, but that's not the situation we were in. Because think about it. If you rest Koo from week 1, when you could kind of tell he was looking a little shaky, you rest him. Maybe he's healthy at this point in the season. Yeah. Maybe that hip injury is not bothering him as bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you can run him out. Right. And so the only thing I think is it's an ego thing. I think the Kirk Cousins thing, had a lot to do with the money. You paid him $100 million and you were going to run him out there and run him into the ground until he couldn't play no more, until the wheels fell off. And unfortunately, that's just not, I understand the ego behind it, but ultimately the big picture is what is going to, make my football team win games? What is going to put the Falcons in the best position to win football games? And after week 10, it wasn't Kirk Cousins. You could tell 2 weeks into week 11, week 12, that Kirk wasn't Kirk anymore. Something was up with either the Achilles or with the elbow or something. And instead of making the smart decision, you let money and ego make the decision for you, because the conversation should have been with Kirk. Look, Kirk, we love you. You've come in, you've been great this year. You've won big football games for us. You're a big reason that we've got, control of the South right now. But you're hurt. We need you to sit. I don't give a shit if you had given him $200 million. Your better option was to let the rookie quarterback start playing games. And the other thing is too, if you get down to it, so you sit Kirk Cousins at let's say week 14, you finally sit him. So now Penix goes in 14, 15, and 16. Now, instead of having one game of, football under his belt, he's got more like 3 or 4, depending on when he's in.
Because let's be for real, you could have played Michael Penix against the Raiders and you still are winning that game.
Yeah, absolutely. No, if you play Michael Penix against the Raiders, that game's not even close. You play a healthy Michael Penix against that Raiders team, it's another 45-15, 45-12, whatever their final score was. It's not holy shit, it's 19-12 and we've got to hold our breath.
There's so much that the Falcons did right last night, but then again, there's so much that the Falcons did wrong. Right. And we're going to break that down. We have so many topics here tonight to talk about it. Falcon fans, hit that like button. If you're tuning in on Facebook, appreciate you tuning in, but please head over to YouTube and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have a YouTube account, please switch over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you want to view on Facebook, then on cool. But shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Falcon fans, we are talking Falcon football. From the beginning, man, it just seemed like from the very beginning, Bijan Robinson, what we talked about here in the podcast, get Bijan started, get Bijan the ball, get him established in this run game, then rotate Tyler. Well, you did that, but you did the Tyler rotation thing only 3 times. You did the Bijan thing, but you only did it for the first and second quarter.
But the only reason that you couldn't get the ball back in the third quarter. That's why you couldn't.
Because your offense was stalling on 3 and outs.
Yep.
Because you went from you went out in the field on third down, you hand the ball off the first play, you hand the ball off the second play, then you make a pass play. Then you pass the ball. Then you don't get a first down. Then you're punting the ball back to Jaden Daniels. We talked about on the podcast, the recipe to success was keeping Jaden Daniels off the football field. Something the Atlanta Falcons did not do in the third quarter. Robert, me and you was talking before the podcast. This may sound like a dumb cliche statement, but the Atlanta Falcons defense maybe should have allowed Jaden Daniels to score maybe just a little bit faster. I love the fact that the Atlanta Falcons defense was making Jaden Daniels eat and fight for every bit of yardage that team gained last night. The Atlanta Falcons defense, I applaud you because you held a Jaden Daniels to initially a 24-point game, and you still gave your offense the chance with a 3-and-out in the very last part of the game with a minute left on the clock, a minute 19 when you gave the Commanders the ball back, the Atlanta Falcons defense still gave you the chance to get the ball back, establish field position, and kick a field goal to initially win the game. But all in all, they kept you tied and carried you into overtime. The Atlanta Falcons defense is the MVP for last night's performance. We are going to speak on a lot of different aspects from last night, but let's speak about the one specific thing that has been brought up over and over and been asked over and over after this football game. It's even in the title of tonight's show, Timeouts and Missed Opportunities. Raheem Morris, you're not getting paid for timeouts, brother. No matter how many timeouts you have in your pocket at the end of the game, you're not getting paid for it. You don't get extra points for it. It does not give your team the winning advantage. Raheem Morris, why are we not using timeouts? Obviously, Raheem has addressed this situation in interview after interview today, giving a better description of what happened. But, Cody, this question goes to you. Actually, Robert, and then bounce it over to Cody. What happened? Robert, why are we not taking timeouts before halftime? It seemed like almost you were playing for the 3 points before halftime instead of the 7, which you have to play aggressive in this league. And then towards the end, when you get in the field goal range of 56 yards, instead of using the timeout, you have Torrey. Let Torrey take it away. Hold up. Torrey McElhinney takes it away with Darnell Mooney caught the ball with 33 seconds left. The next play was snapped with 17 seconds left. Atlanta had 2 timeouts at that point. Robert, why are we not taking timeouts to initially get you 10 more yards, 10 to 15 more yards to get that field goal range for your backup kicker? Robert, take it away.
I have no earthly idea. It was the goofiest decision that I believe I've seen since Mike Smith was head coach, because he was notorious for poor clock management. I thought we were beyond all that, but the only thing that I can think of is, that Ra was in the mindset that he wanted to just leave no time. But there's 33 seconds. You've got 2 timeouts. You can come up with some way to make this game-winning kick. If you're going to play for a field goal to try to end it at regulation, make it easier for this kicker. He's never been known for long range anyway. And, and like Raheem said it himself, it was a bit of a desperation kick. Why put your kicker in that position with the playoffs on the line? I don't understand it. I mean, I'm not claiming to be a coach. I'm not claiming to be NFL caliber mindset of anything like that. I'm just a fan. But my God, I have followed this team for 46 years. And this is by far one of the goofiest coaching decisions I have ever seen in my life. I don't understand it. I'm still scratching my head about it. And, like I said, hopefully that learn from it. We grow. And then next year, maybe these kind of mistakes are behind him. But he has coached long enough. He's been in this league long enough to know how to manage these situations, or at least he should.
Yeah, absolutely. Cody, you hear Robert's frustration and anger and just his answer there, because all Falcon fans around the world have the same exact frustration and anger, because me personally, I'm sitting here screaming at the TV, why are we not taking the timeouts? I'm not a head coach like Robert just said. I'm not a football coach, and I know to take those timeouts at that point. Right before I say it, or right after I say it, the announcers on TV say the Falcons are going to clock the time here. They'll have initially 20-something seconds left. The Falcons don't clock the time. The announcers are dumbfounded of why the Falcons have not taken this timeout. And then the Falcons initially go for the 56-yard field goal. It is no good. And you head over to OTime, and you can hear the heartbreak in Grady Jarrett's voice when he calls heads and the answers tails, and he's like, man, fuck. Like, why didn't I say tails? Defense is gas, man. Defense has been and we're going to talk time of possession and stats and all that here in a few minutes. But if you look at just the time of possession, it is outrageous, Falcon fans. You have got to play better football than that. You have got to scheme better than that. And I must say that I applaud the Atlanta Falcons defense, because other than that bull drive flag they throw on D'Angelo Malone, the Falcons were really coming out at halftime and was about to make Jaden Daniels go another 3-and-out right after halftime. How different would that made the game? We'll never know. But that was huge for these Atlanta Falcons to have them at 3rd and 20 or 3rd and 30, and then they bail them out on the flag there against D'Angelo Malone. a flag that happens, the style of play that happens in every NFL game. I promise you could go to any game Sunday and find that same exact penalty that was not called in any game that you watched this Sunday. Cody, your thoughts on the poor time management, as Miss Krista says here. Why did Raheem Morris not take the timeouts in those serious moments to potentially win the game, to give you that playoff berth that you've been waiting on since 2017, Cody? Cody, I could punch right through this screen right now talking about the Falcons missing the playoffs. It just lights a fire in my ass. Why are we not making the playoffs? Why do Falcons have to rely on, well, we have next season. Next year is the Falcons' years. Next year is going to be a year we win the NFC South. Why can the Falcons not do it this year? Why can this talented roster not finish the job?
Yeah, well, last night was definitely poor time management. I'm even going to go back further, on bad clock management. Going right before halftime, man, you had, I'm not mistaken, you had 3 timeouts.
Yeah.
Before we kicked the field goal there. Because think about the difference in the game. Again, I'm at that point, if you score 7, now it's 21-7 or 14 or whatever halftime would have wound up being. I can't figure it out. I'm kind of with Robert on the mindset. The only thing that I can think he's thinking is, I want to play with no time.
Well, here we go, Cody, because continue speaking, but as you speak, I'm going to pull up Raheem Morris's recent interview and his description of why he did what he did with these timeouts. But please continue on, Cody.
Yeah. Well, excuse me. Like I say, the ones that right before halftime was atrocious too. That I definitely can't figure out when you're that close, that you're not using your timeouts. You have to do it. And this was my biggest thing, So anyway, so at least you got 3 points out of that. But the thing that really chaps my ass about Coach's answer before I guess he has a better explanation. I didn't really give a shit about his his other excuse. But when your thought is, I thought we were going to be faster than that. I don't give a shit what you're doing.
And Cody, when you realize, if you thought you were going to be faster than that, in that scheme of them running to get set, if you've seen that they weren't getting set in that timely manner that you thought you could move the ball,
yes.
Why were you not calling the timeout?
Yeah. Well, and again, the only thing I can think in this, and it's a piss poor excuse of, trying to burn as much clock as you can, because this is my thing. If you have a healthy Kirk Cousins here, okay, I get it, because Kirk Cousins has been in this situation. He knows what he's doing. He's done it in the NFL. Okay, so maybe I understand that a little bit more. You have got a rookie quarterback right now. You have got a guy that has 1 game under his belt against a really, really bad defense and a really bad football team. What you needed to do at that point, I don't care how fast you thought you were going to run up and do all this stuff. You should have called a timeout to let your rookie settle down, to let your rookie take a breath, so you could sit there and evaluate, so you could sit there and figure something out. That is the dumbest thing I have ever seen. You need to give Penix time. I understand, the only bright thing that I took out of yesterday's game, I mean, other than, it was close and we fought hard and all that wonderful stuff with the defense, Michael Penix looks like he can be the guy for the future. Now, I don't want to talk about the future today. I don't give a shit about the future today. What I care about is right now in 2024, and that is 100% on Coach Raheem Morris for not giving your rookie quarterback a chance with the timeout to move the ball a little bit more.
Let's listen to the man's excuse.
I would love to hear this.
Well, actually, I have just officially lost a video. Imagine that. I'll find it. We'll get to that. But, Robert, let's head to the comment section here for a minute. Guys, if you don't mind reading these comments as I click through them, giving these guys shout-outs for me, we'll start here from the top because we've just been clicking and rolling. The chat is going off. Robert, Cody, if I want to take turns, however I want to do it, but here we go. There's one right there.
Hashtag DFU from the Sports Nuts. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and thank you for always being here. Mr. Ron Thomas, yes, sir. How you doing? We're doing all right. All thanks to
Run. Another podcast, and Mr. Ron Thomas, a diehard Falcon fan. Shout out to Ron Thomas, man. A Georgia boy down from Brunswick himself, Mr. Ron Thomas.
See,
Mateo.
Yep.
Here we go, guys. I've got the video. Before we run through the video, go ahead, Robert. Go ahead.
Yeah, we got to rely on the ain'ts. That's nauseating in itself. But, like Cody said, we'll never pull for them to win. We just want the Bucks to lose. We don't care who it's to. It could be to the devil himself. But we will never, ever, ever pull for any swamp rats with a stupid-looking, rotten banana-looking logo on the side of their helmet and a mascot that looks like it's got a chin that looks like a nutsack.
The Crimson Chin. The Crimson Chin down in New Orleans. I'm knowing the chat. So let's be real. The Saints will not beat Tampa. It was a decent season, boys. I was kind of leaning that same way after the game, brother. All negativity from me last night. I see the light. I see it, but it's very dim for these Atlanta Falcons to make that playoff run.
Now, about that. Now, I understand, where people are coming from. The Saints aren't going to beat Tampa, but listen to this. This was something real interesting that I heard. The Saints should be getting Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara back. Now,
chat,
why that's
chat, let me know when you subscribe so I put your name down for the free Apple AirPod Pros. I've seen a new subscription pop up on my screen. Let me know in the comment section if you just subscribed so I can be sure to write your name down. Continue on, Cody.
I would say now the important thing about that, because most people are thinking, well, they've got nothing to play for. Well, here's the deal. Alvin Kamara is like 115, 125 yards short of being a 1,000-yard rusher. He's never done that before. Mm-hmm. There's got to be some kind of incentive for him to do
some
that.
kind of want to,
There's got to be some kind of want to, and I'm sure there's something in his contract that says you hit 1,000.
The only thing that scares me, bro, in New Orleans is their quarterback situation. They're playing on like a hope and a wish over there, like their third-string quarterback right now.
They're supposed to get Derek Carr back this week.
Okay. So you give me the news. The light's kind of a little brighter.
Yeah, so that's the only. Now, I wish I had more news, and I wish I could tell you Baker Mayfield is, pulled a hamstring or, something. But the only good news, and I don't ever want anybody hurt. I won't ever go that far. But at least the Saints are getting some of their players back. So we
got a new subscriber, Falcon fans. Mama Dunn is now entered in the chance to win Apple AirPod Pros. Guys, it's a once in a chance lifetime, a free subscription to be entered. We only have like 5 entries right now. Subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, head over to YouTube, DFU_ATL, courtesy of my guy, Cody Keeler here. Subscribe on YouTube for the chance to win a pair of brand new Apple AirPod Pros, courtesy of Cody Keeler. Falcon fans, we're giving away free stuff. Why not subscribe over on YouTube if you're watching on Facebook? Cody, enough of what we think of Raheem Morris's decision. Let's hear from the guy himself.
40 seconds left, and you hit a big time play to Mooney.
Can you hear that?
Big time play to Mooney right there, and you really, in our opinion, right there, wanted to jump the ball. With the reason being behind it is to keep the regulated rush. Right? If we call timeout right there, we clock it, we do in those situations like that, we stop the clock. That allows them in their fringe area to bring out some of their unregulated rushes, their designer blitzes, their zeros, all those type of things. They're sounding like coverage that we know about from Quinny and what they've been able to do and have a lot of success with. But what we're able to do is get a 4-man rush, regulated rush with the guys that we know coming, get those guys blocked up, catch a 2-man in the back end, and get us a really good look on that line to Mooney that we just missed. And it took a little too long, and I'd like to have that back, obviously, because it didn't work, and possibly call a timeout and go against the harder-looking defense or take a chance that I'm going to get the harder-looking defense. But, man, in hindsight, if we can just hit that one route and we get a chance to have the timeouts to utilize the whole field on the next throws, then we get a chance to get in better positions to make it an easier field goal to end it there in regulation. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way for me. And I know it was always going to be questioned, and fairly so, and fairly granted to you guys, but you got to make those decisions at the heat of the moment. And with my study, knowing the people, knowing the personnel of Joe, Witt, and Quinn on what's going to happen if that clock gets stopped and how it's going to go down for my young quarterback when it comes to protection purposes, I wanted to get him a regulated 4-man rush, but my guy standing in the pocket, being able to deliver a throw, I'm being able to get it done. And this is not throwing my guy under the bus by any means. You got the ball, you got 40 seconds left, and you hit a big-time play to Mooney. All
right, so that was Raheem Morris's description on why he did what he did. And me and Robert, we were speaking on this a little bit before the podcast went live. I said a statement, and a lot of Falcon fans could agree to disagree, and that's okay. That's what the podcast is here for. But no Falcon fan right now would be coming after Raheem Morris if his decision making won you the football game last night. Let's be for real, and this is not me backing Raheem Morris for what he did, and I will kind of back him because he's the coach of the Atlanta Falcons, and he's possibly for sure your coach next season as well. Raheem Morris, when he talks about the pass to Darnell Mooney, the pass is there, the completion is there. Penix just overthrows it a little bit. That comes with time. And as I told Robert, I don't think any pass that Penix overthrew last night or any pass that missed last night, I don't think there's any pass there that cannot be corrected in a full training camp with these starters. I really think Penix is the future here in Atlanta. The touchdown to Kyle Pitts there, the carry in the overtime, the deliverance, the speed behind that ball, guys. We finally have a quarterback in Atlanta. The future to me is officially here. But let's speak on the Raheem Morris situation. Robert, you take it away and then bounce it over to Cody. Do you agree with Raheem Morris? Obviously, it didn't pan out to work, and it kind of sounds crazy to say you agree with what he did because it didn't work in our advantage. But do you understand, I guess I'm saying, from what Raheem's point, do you understand what he's trying to say? Is it a bad decision, or is this something where Raheem looks at it next year, and when we're in this situation next year, and he looks at it, he knows what to do. He learns from this situation, or is this a problem that Falcon fans are going to sadly live with for at least another year or two here in Atlanta if you don't make a playoff berth?
No, I don't agree with the decision because he even contradicted himself. He's like, well, he's worked with Dan Quinn. He knew what was coming. Okay, that's all fine and good. You are an NFL head coach. This is kind of like a chess match. If you know what's coming, you can plan, you can counteract what you think is coming. That is your job. That is your coordinator's jobs. Use those timeouts and like Penix is a rookie. Yeah, he was missing high all night long. But if this kid's going to be the future and you want the fan base to believe in you and believe in this quarterback and rally around you, you make the smart decisions and you put him in a position to win this game and give the fans something to be happy about and to rally around. This is totally on Raheem.
Malcolm fans, we have another subscription here tonight on the live podcast. Shout out to Krista Case and Pitchett. You are now entered for the chance to win your Apple AirPod Pros. Shout out to Krista. Robert, sorry to interrupt you there, brother. We got to get us like a soundboard. Every time a new subscription happens, we just hit the soundboard and it goes off. Continue on, brother.
You got to play the draft noise.
The draft won't be bad.
Like the NFL,
that'd be pretty dope. That would be clear. We're gonna get a soundboard on the way, Falcon fans. That's coming.
But it's like I said. I mean, I know coaches are human. I get that, and even the best have made mistakes. And I'll use one in particular. Is like in the 2009 game when New England was playing in Indianapolis. Bill Belichick goes for it on 4th and 2 deep in his own territory because he did not want the ball back in Peyton Manning's hands. And, of course, it failed. And the Colts did win the game, which I thoroughly enjoyed because Peyton Manning's my all-time favorite non-Falcon, and I hate Bill Belichick and the Patriots. So it's going to happen to all of them, but I'm sorry. I mean, like I said, Raheem's been coaching long enough to know that, with the playoffs on the line and a rookie quarterback, just you've got these timeouts. It just makes sense to use them and put them in a better position. Even if you're going to rely on the kicker, get him closer.
Yeah, and if you go back to Penix's interview, that's one of the first questions they asked, and it's D. Ledbetter. He asked Penix, when you make that connection with Mooney and you're headed up to the ball, were you expecting, why wasn't there a timeout call? Were you expecting there a timeout there? And Penix's simple answer was, that's on Coach Raheem. Whatever Coach Raheem says and whatever his guidance is, we're going to follow. Whatever he initially, does that night, whatever that game plan is, we're going to back that. And his decision was not to call a timeout, so we backed what Raheem Morris's decision was. So another solid answer from Penix, but you could kind of tell the look on his face was like, why wasn't there a timeout called? Like even he kind of knew, hey, I'm a rookie, but Coach, I knew to call that timeout. So, I mean, there's things that you got to look at and things that need to happen as far as coaching in Atlanta. Even some of the play schemes, when you look at the third quarter, some of the play calling wasn't too great. heading out of the half. The adjustments wasn't too great. It seemed like maybe at the half, Washington adjusts better than what the Falcons did coming out that second half. And it seems like every game this season, you've had that to where you play good 2 quarters, but the other 2 quarters, you're going to lay down for at least 2 quarters, and you're going to play good. You gave up 17 points to your 0 after the halftime. You were up 10 points heading into the half. Could have been, a 14-point lead, but we play for the field goal and don't take the 3 timeouts that Cody mentioned earlier before the half. So, I mean, you give that away, and it's tough to give a 10-point lead away in a playoff style of game that keeps you in the playoff race, because now your percentage is very, very low. Noah Hart with the question here says, what is our chances next week to make the playoffs? 12%. ESPN gave us 12 to 15% chance to win the NFC South. So it's very slim. Saints have to come out and want to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because right now Carolina, to me, was your best advantage of them losing, and they ran slap through Carolina. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say. There's still hope. Maybe the Saints can snap out of it and try to pull something together for this interim head coach they have in New Orleans. Try to make a stance for his job. Maybe, who knows? But it's very slim to me. Tony Primetime in the chat says, why not call a timeout? Help the defense. The defense was gassed. Absolutely. He says, I agree with Cody. Mateo in the chat says, Raheem Morris needs to demote to DC and bring in a better head coach candidate. Who knows what could happen in this offseason, but I don't see Raheem leaving the head coach position for at least another year. And if next year you make the playoffs, because let's be for real, he got you over the 7-game hump. He's the first coach to do it in 4 years. So you have to look at the positives, and you have to look at the lows of what happened last night. But there were some positives, even though you come away and lose a close OT battle against a good high-flying team. A.J. Terrell with the clutch lockdown coverage on their number 1 receiver that's been slashing people all season. With only 1 catch allowed, 7 yards. Like, A.J. Terrell has been locked down this season, man. I don't care. He's got a lot of haters, but he has been locked down. Darren Ahim over on Facebook said, actually, the dumbest thing I ever seen in my 42-year Falcon fan was being at the Super Bowl and watching live Dan Quinn allow Matt Ryan to drop back and get sacked. That was pretty dumb. You're right. That was pretty dumb. Chelsea Dunn over on YouTube says, I want to hear Cody say it. Really chaps my ass one more time. I don't know where the chat says, allowing Jaden Daniels to run 127 yards is crazy, though. Let's pull it up, Falcon fans. Let's pull up the stats. Let's see what the Atlanta Falcons did against these Commanders. And, guys, when I announce this time of possession, you are going to hurl in your stomach or in your mouth, because it's bad. Time of possession was terrible last night. Washington 41.32 to our 25.46. That's half of a game. That's over half of what you had.
And you know what's crazy about that is we still almost beat them.
Yeah.
Your team still puts you in the spot to win the game. Washington Commanders 412 yards. We had 337. Michael Penix outdoing Jaden Daniels in passing yards, 211 to Jaden Daniels 196. Rushing yards are 126. A good 100% of that from Bijan. Tyler Algier only with 3 carries on the night. Washington had 216 rushing yards. That really, really depleted the Atlanta Falcons. Yards per play, we were 5.6. They were 5.4. First downs, we had 23 to their 29. This number here, always coming to bite the Falcons in the ass. Third down efficiency, 2 for 10 to their 6 for 13. Fourth down efficiency, 2 for 2 to their 3 for 3. We had 60 total plays. They had 77. We got 5 sacks, which was tremendous to get 5 sacks against Jaden Daniels. Mm-hmm. We only allowed 2 sacks on Michael Penix. We punted 3 times. They punted 3 times. We had 4 penalties for 25, which was great. And the Commanders had 13 penalties for 108 yards. 0 fumbles, interceptions both ways. And once again, time of possession, which was terrible. Let's talk about some player stats here. Michael Penix, 19 for 35, 223 yards, 1 touchdown in his first career interception was officially last night. We looked at that play. It looked like to me, Chris Blair, there's a breakdown on Twitter. I forget who it was from, but there's a breakdown on Twitter. Cody, it's in the group chat if you want to check it after the podcast. Chris Blair was being held on his route. and there was no flag thrown. There was no
Yep.
flag, and Penix even walks up to the ref after the route, and he's like pointing, like, dude, you didn't see the hold, like you didn't see that flag that should have been thrown. So that, I mean, I'm not giving the guy excuse, but I mean that it's there. You can see it on tape. Bijan 17 for 90 yards. Tyler Algier 3 for 19. Ray McLeod 1 for 14. Penix 2 for 3. Drake London 7 receptions for 106 yards. Officially hitting 1K this season. My guy Drake London going stupid this season. Draco. Kyle Pitts 4 for 44 with the tying OT reception that carries you into OT. Shout out to Kyle Pitts for finally doing what a number 4 pick does. You made the big time catch, Kyle Pitts. You actually went and got the ball and made the aggressive play. Kyle Pitts, that's what gets you a contract in Atlanta, and you got to see that. We've got to see that this last few games, because I don't even know if it's enough to keep you in Atlanta.
No.
Donut Mooney 2 receptions for 37 yards. Ray McLeod 1 for 13. Hodge 1 for 9. Robinson 3 for 8. Charlie Warner 1 for 6. Blair 0 for 0. Bates with the tremendous game, 7 tackles, 5 assists, 1 sack. Ellis with the interception, big time interception from Caden Ellis, Falcon fans.
Yep.
Shout out to Caden. Look at this, folks. I mean, Caden Ellis scheming like he's coming in for the blitz, drops back. I mean, it couldn't have been any better. Caden Ellis making elite plays in elite moments. That was a big time interception. Justin Simmons, 6 tackles, 0 assists. I hate to do this, and I don't usually do this to Falcon players or Falcon alumni, but D. Alfred, I need you to turn in your jersey. Turn in your helmet, turn in your pads, take your cleats off, and get the fuck out of Flowery Branch, because you no longer are allowed in Atlanta. That play that you have gave me in the past 4 weeks, you come, you show up when you want to play, and then you lay down in big-time moments, big-time decision plays. Just like there's a play where it's like Justin Simmons has the guy held up, and D. Alfred comes in for the hit instead of wrapping up and taking him down. Gives him the first down to extend the play. It's somewhere I wish we could do a play breakdown, but it's too much. D. Alfred, get out of Atlanta. Mike Hughes, 3 for 3. J.D. Bertrand, 3 tackles, 1 sack. Onamata with the sack. Lorenzo Carter, Ebiketie with the sack, man. I'm loving this Ebiketie kid. I'm loving Ebiketie. What he's doing this season is great. AJ Terrell, 1 tackle. He did miss the one for the running back to walk in, but when you're locking down receivers like you're doing, I'm going to let you slide on 1 missed tackle. Rook with the tackle for loss. Zach Harrison with a tackle for loss. And that pretty much wraps us up on Falcon stats. We'll look at the other teams real quick. We'll just give you just a quick run through. Jaden Daniels, 24 for 36, 227, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jaden Daniels, 16 carries for 127 yards. They're running back 13 for 60, 5 for 16, yada, yada, yada. Alameda Zacchaeus, 8 receptions, 85 yards with a touchdown. Zach Ertz, 6 for 72. Crowder, 3 for 25. Terry McLaurin, 1 for 5. Shout out to AJ Terrell, locking his ass down all night.
Yep.
So there were advantages, there were goods, there were bads, there were opportunities missed. But as a whole, to me, this game solely falls in the hands of Raheem Morris. I'm sorry to say it, Falcon fans, but this game was lost from your head coach. Sterling Wood says, yes, a lot of missed tackles. After the half, we could not tackle. And it's like the roles reversed because the Commanders couldn't tackle in the first half. Now, after halftime, we couldn't tackle. He says, where was Kyle Pitts most of the game? Glad he made the touchdown catch, but we needed him more. He was sitting on the bench. They had him standing up over there the whole third quarter. Don't know why, but he was. Instead of D. Alford, instead of Clark Phillips being on the field, they continue to let D. Alford look terrible out there on the field. I don't understand that at all. Let Clark Phillips play. He is the guy you drafted. He is going to be good. Mateo says, y'all see our pass rush change with Root coming back in the rotation. The pass rushes look sweet the past few weeks, and that's huge because Raheem Morris has kind of stepped into that, put his fingers in the defensive playbook. But if you can't do that and head coach and time manage the game, get you a time management. I mean, you got to have somebody that can manage the time, because if you can't do all three, then you're going to continue to lose games this way, because to me, this game falls in the hands of Raheem Morris. Cody, Robert, y'all agree, disagree? What your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. No, and I'm gonna give my take on Coach Raheem's excuse for that timeout. And I forgot who who wanted me to say "chap my ass," but that "chap my ass." Listen to that. That is a horseshit answer. That is an absolute horseshit answer from your head coach.
Yep.
You have a rookie quarterback. I don't give a shit what Dan Quinn is going to do. Bijan Robinson was lighting that defense up. He was gashing that defense. Michael Penix was making plays. So let Dan Quinn bring out whoever the fuck he wants. Let him bring out the big boys. Let him bring out, because you know what? The only reason that they stopped Bijan was when you didn't have Bijan on the field. That entire third quarter, that is the only way that they stopped Bijan, was having us off the field on the entire third quarter. Bijan would have had 250 yards and 3 touchdowns had we had gotten the ball.
Falcon fans, new subscriber over on YouTube, Maddie D Life, subscribed at Tony Primetime Done. You are now entered for the chance to win the Apple AirPod Pros. Falcon fans, take advantage of this giveaway while you still can. You have until what, Cody? You said the end of the season. That means next Sunday.
Next Sunday. Well, should we do it that Sunday after we beat Carolina or the following?
Let's do it. All right, let's do it. Okay, let's say if the Falcons beat the Panthers and somehow Tampa loses, then
we'll do it that night.
We'll do it that night. If not, we wait until but we'll give a date. We'll give a date after that show. Yeah. We'll give a date. So you got a slim chance to subscribe over on YouTube for the chance to win a pair of Apple AirPod Pros. Cody, please continue, brother.
But yeah, no, I hate that answer. Absolutely hate that answer. To Robert's point, like he had said, if you know what Dan Quinn's going to do, you can run something out there to counter it. You just do. If you know what Dan Quinn's going to do, then counter it.
Yeah.
Again, the only way that you stop Bijan Robinson all night. And hell, this is the thing, is even if Bijan only, if you, at that point, you got a first down, you get Bijan and he only gets 4, 5, maybe 6 yards. Guess what? That field goal goes through. It may barely go through, but that field goal goes through because he was only short about 5 yards. I think it was what they eventually said. But, so I hate that answer. You've got to I understand what he's talking about as far as momentum and stuff like that, and you want to keep that rolling. But hey, guess what? You've got a rookie quarterback. Let it slow down. Let him process and let him catch up. Let everything catch up. That is the worst. That is the worst excuse I have ever heard, is that you want to keep momentum rolling. Well, guess what? You did. You let momentum keep rolling. But guess what? You burned your fucking clock doing it too.
Yep, you did.
That your ends didn't meet the ends of the goals. You shot yourself in the foot doing that. If you knew it was going to be a desperation kick in the first place, which I'm pretty sure we were all thinking, because I didn't know, Patterson. Yeah, I would say I was too. And, if you know that's going to be a desperation kick.
I thought it went in, Cody.
Oh, yeah. I did too. I stood up and cheered.
I started screaming. I was like, yeah, like you just beat the fucking Washington Commanders. And then it's like,
yep.
Fuck. And then they do the coin toss. You lose the coin toss. You see the disbelief in Grady Jarrett's face. And it's just like, hold on tight, boys. It's about to get ugly.
It is going to get ugly. Well, like I say, it's hard to sit here and find any kind of positive in it. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about the future, because, like I say, I don't give a shit. The only thing that matters right now is
the only thing that you can talk about from last night, Cody, is the fact that your guy Drake London with the 1K.
Yeah,
that's huge. The Michael Penix officially getting the first career touchdown in primetime, and then this guy here that has just showed completely out this season, Bijan Robinson, being that pick that we all needed him to be here in Atlanta. Bijan here for years to come. He is Atlanta Falcon fans. Bijan is him.
Yeah, that was definitely by far Terry Fontenot's best draft pick.
And Caden Ellis. Caden Ellis is a boss. Yes. Right.
I would say, yeah. Well, that was definitely probably. Man, we wanted to talk about Jesse Bates being Terry Fontenot's best free agent signing. Caden Ellis is right on his ass.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
he's
that
not
was a
the
good one.
best.
Yep, that was a good one.
You know, that's like I love that they kept talking about Caden Ellis because he was huge last night. Caden Ellis absolutely he put the fear of God into them. And yeah, he didn't have the sacks that I wanted him to have, but them worrying about him where he brings that pressure look, and then him and Troy Anderson flip-flop.
Drop out. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that
Nate
is
Landman, not Troy. Nate Landman.
Or Nate Landman, yeah. I would say that's showing what the teams are worried about 55. And I've been saying it since week 1 that he's going to be a problem and that he is a problem. And that, behind Grady Jarrett, I think, that Caden Ellis is definitely my favorite defensive player, other than Grady. And like I said a couple of podcasts ago, I really hope Caden Ellis is a Falcon for a very long time.
Yeah, you got to make that a statement. The comment here from Mateo, the comment, the Wildcat that you're talking about, that play there, if Michael Penix doesn't go down there and deliver that ball to Kyle Pitts, that play alone is why Zach Robinson would not be your OC next year, in my opinion, because that was stupid. That was so dumb. You could have just handed the ball off to Bijan at that point. Like, it's first down. You have 4 plays to get it into the end zone right here. Let's take it. Let's take our time. Let's not do no stupid shit. And when I seen the Wildcat, Cody, the thought came over my mind. It was like, what if something shitty's about to happen right here? Like, something fucking stupid is going to happen because you're running a Wildcat in the red zone when you've done it maybe twice this whole season.
That was pretty dumb. I mean, I understood why, because Bijan absolutely. But
at the rate that Bijan was playing, you can afford to run pistol that you've loved to run all season. Right. Run the pistol, get the ball to Penix, boom, hand it to Bijan. You're still probably going to get the same result. Touchdown.
Or hell, whatever. You go back to having Tyler Algier running one fullback. The running fullback that, as a matter of fact, Mateo called, a couple of weeks ago, and that looked really good. That was, I don't know. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because, we got the score, but yeah, you don't need to be doing cute shit because when you run something like that, you know where you're going and everybody's, again,
Bijan. They know what's going to Bijan.
Yeah, they know
what's going to Bijan. Hey, guys, we're going Wildcat right here, and Bijan's going to get the ball because he's ran 90 yards on y'all tonight. So we're going to run a Wildcat, and you're going to let him walk it back into the end zone.
Right, and they kind of hurry up and run that too, and so you've got players anxious, and you've got people going, okay, we're running something that we normally don't run. This is a special.
And to me, it was like as soon as the ball came out, the O line was fucking getting it. They were going. Yeah. So, and really, the ball was right above Bijan's head. A quarter probably makes that catch and that handoff.
Yeah, probably. But, I think, too, the snap was bad because I think Bert was it not Bergeron? Who's this? Give me the center's name. Dahlman, thank you. I think he's a little too amped up for that because you could tell, like, as soon as he snaps, he's already
fucking going.
Yeah, he's going. And so I think, that's not the situation to get cute. You're already running high. You're already running, it's a high energy, situation. That kind of play, it needs to be calm and needs to, you don't need to be doing this because that's when mistakes happen. And that's exactly what happened because you're right. I mean, the offensive line came off the ball, bam. Mm-hmm. And it's because they were ready to go. And unfortunately that caused issues and it did. I will say one thing about Penix. Don't get me wrong. This is not a huge criticism on my part. The only thing that, and I know that Penix isn't necessarily a runner, but there were a few times it was like, just take off, dude.
Yeah, and then there's a few times where it's like, God, if he gets that ball down just a little bit, we've got 3 touchdowns on the board in less than a quarter. Like there was the early one we talked about in the group chat where I was fucking livid. The wide open pass to Bijan, where if that connects with Bijan on that go route, Bijan is taking it to the house for 6 all day. So I mean, but like we said, there's not a pass there that cannot be corrected with routes, timing, and chemistry in training camp. This offseason is going to show a lot. This young quarterback is going to grow a lot, and he's shown he can make the hard throws. And it was just maybe the lights were too bright for Penix in his first ever primetime game. But it happens. He's a rookie. He didn't look terrible. I give Penix a solid B+ for yesterday's performance, and he'll probably give himself a lower performance grade, but that's the competitor that he is. So I'm pleased with what happens. But, you know, Atlanta Falcons Fandemic brings up a good topic here. It says, once again, we went away from Tyler Algier late in the game. Fandemic, this is where I begin to worry, because to me it seems like Zach Robinson doesn't have a scheme for Algier. It doesn't seem that Algier fits this scheme that Zach Robinson wants to run. So is Algier a potential trade candidate this offseason?
You can't.
Who knows?
Do that. See, that's going to be a huge mistake if you let Tyler Algier walk, man. Or
that's what I'm saying, Cody. You're giving the kid three plays out of a whole game. If he mattered to you, this kid would get at least 7 touches a game. At least 7 touches a game to make something happen.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, we talked about it before. I think that Zach Robinson's got to get away from this one back set mindset. He's got to learn that you have got an absolute beast in Tyler Algier. You have to use him. It would be a huge mistake if Terry allows the Falcons to get rid of Tyler Algier. It will be a mistake. Because Tyler Algier is a genuine starting running back in this league.
For sure.
I can tell you right now, people will be coming and knocking on the Falcons' door if you do not find a way to keep Tyler Algier here.
That's what worries me, because you're short on draft picks. Terry's trying to save his ass this last season in Atlanta, because if I may be wrong, don't check me off on this, Falcon fans, but this is contract year for Terry. Is it, or am I wrong?
I don't think so yet.
Next year's contract season, correct? Like after next year, he's up.
I think you're right.
I think so, because Smith had 1 year left on his contract, which had been this year, and I think Terry was either this year or the following year when his contract would be up. So I feel like Terry's going to try his best to get draft picks in here, because he really has to solidify this path, because you didn't really have production this year. You got to see your first round pick in 2 games. Now it'll be 3 this Sunday. But other than that, you've seen a couple of snaps of Brandon Dolores. You've seen Rook Ohurohu a couple of times this season. But everybody else, Braylon Trice, he was hurt. Casey Washington banged up. You didn't really see a lot from this draft class. So I think this is a big, big key factor of keeping Terry in Atlanta. He has to hit this draft or this free agency.
Yep.
And if I'm correct on the contract thing, that to me makes me feel like Tyler Algier just may be a trade candidate to get some draft class here in Atlanta.
So this is what I found. As of late 2023, there haven't been many major public updates regarding Terry Fontenot's contract with the Atlanta Falcons, but reports suggest that he is likely to remain with the team through the 24 season, which obviously he is, indicating that his current contract is likely to be honored and not significantly altered at this time. So this may be contract year for Terry Fontenot.
I'm telling you, Falcon fans, you're going to see a guy trying to get players in Atlanta, and that comes with trading players and gaining money. And the Falcons do not have draft picks this season to give away. They do not have cap space to really play with. And let me show you, as of now, Cody, if you were to end the season today, this right here is your free agency list for the Atlanta Falcons this season. And the guys, there's a lot of big names on this list. You have to choose who you're keeping. You have to choose who you're letting walk. It's going to be hard this offseason to figure it out. The Kirk Cousins situation. What are you doing with Kirk Cousins? Where's that money going? Are you going to re-sign Matthew Judon? Are you going to sign Justin Simmons? Is Mike Hughes going to return? Are you looking for a cornerback 2 in the draft next year? Is Drew Dahlman your starting center? Are you walking with Drew Dahlman, or are you going to let him walk? Cordell Hodge, the special team specialist. Are you keeping that guy? D. Alfred, get the fuck out of Atlanta. Eddie Goldman, are you keeping him? Nate Landman. So there's some big-time decisions when it comes to this team and this free agency and this draft concept, Cody. That's why I speak highly. I'm not with it. I'm highly against it. But Tyler Algier just may be a trading block next season or this offseason. And it's sad to say, because I love the kid. I love what he does. I love his ball. I love what he did in college. When the Falcons traded up, or not traded up, when the Falcons got him in the late round that they did, I knew that was a gem. Tyler Algier is a starting running back in the NFL, and teams, I'm sure teams know this. but you do not give him to an NFC South opponent.
You better,
because
he'll make you pay for it.
That's a lot to discuss, and that's obviously going to be an off-season topic up to what happens for this team. We'll talk about that more, but we're reaching our hour mark here. It is a Monday night. I've got to get to work tomorrow. Cody, give me your shout-outs, and then rotate it to Robert.
Yeah, man. Do you have Philip working in the yard again? Is that why he's not here?
Philip is redoing the shingles.
Oh,
the yard's complete. Philip's redoing the shingles. I went with like a mirage Auburn color.
Yeah.
So he's scraping the tar off right now.
Oh, is that what we've been hearing?
Yeah.
Is him working on it?
That's him up there right now putting nails in. Shout out to Philip, man.
Yes,
Cody, take it away.
Yeah, so shout out to you guys and Philip for working hard on the roof in the yard, man. You're putting in work. Shout out to everybody that liked and subscribed. Guys, keep doing it. We got
Cody. Before we get out of here, you got to read this.
No, we're not trading Coug. I don't want to hear that crap. I'll say we ain't doing that. I'll say I'll go protest that. Hell, I'll help Terry Fontenot pack his bags if he does that. Shout out to you guys for coming on a Monday. It's man, I really wish we were talking about a Falcon win, but that we would have done that last night. But shout out to you guys for coming on and talking Dirty Bird football. Even when it's tough, we just got to believe, boys. I would say stranger things have happened. I've seen a lot of a lot of weird things being a Falcon fan, and it sucks being in this position. Robert can attest this too. He's been a Falcon fan a long time. I've been a fan since '95. Since I was 5 years old, man. And this is kind of life that we live as Falcon fans. You just gotta stick with it and hang in there. It's hard sometimes. Last night was hard. Like as optimistic as I was in the group chat in my head, I'm going, fuck this shit, because here we go again. And I'm sure my wife can attest to my attitude last night. I'm sure she could tell, I was hurt. She could tell I was hurting. So shout out to
that's what really ate me, Cody. The fact that I was on the couch fucking hating life last night.
Right.
And Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Penix, all these players, Bijan, all these stars walking on the field just cheesing ear to ear. And I'm like, that ate at me, dude. I'm like, dude, do they even give a fuck? Like, and now that I sit back and watch it, like these guys are fighting. These guys, they obviously care, but they're all close teammates around the league. So I mean, it happens, but fuck, dude.
It's a brotherhood, and it's definitely hard, for fans, because we're, not that the players aren't invested in it emotionally and stuff like this, but I'm sure a lot of these guys have not been, aren't Falcon fans, and so, or weren't Falcon fans growing up, or their favorite team is a completely different team, or the only reason they're playing football is because they're good at football. Yeah. So it's hard for me to see it too, but I have to take a step back and be like, look, y'all are invested in the team because that's your job, and that's and that kind of thing. I invest in this because this is what makes me happy, and this is what you know what I mean. So it's different. So yeah, it irritates me, but at the same time, it's like I understand. That's a brotherhood that unfortunately that we will never get to be a part of. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from, because, like I say, last night I was in a terrible mood. Didn't want to cuddle, didn't want nothing. I was just like, just let me stay here. Are you coming to bed? I might if I don't put the gun in my mouth later. I mean, we'll see here in a little bit. But so shout out for her for going through the ups and downs of Falcon football season. Again, shout out to you guys for coming on and do this. Shout out to the people like and subscribe. I still believe though, like, give me a 1% chance. Just until we're mathematically eliminated, we've still got, just like Grady says, we still got breath. And as long as we've got breath, we still got a fighting chance. I will not say anything positive about the Saints. Fuck that state. Fuck that team. Fuck everything about New Orleans. But I hope Tampa Bay loses. So, but just keep fighting, guys. I mean, everybody that's going to be at Mercedes-Benz Sunday, I know it's hard. I know it's tough. I know it's bleak, but go and be loud. Go and be loud, because you know what? We still have business to take care of. Yeah. Go take care of business. Shout out to the Falcons, man. It's been an up and down season. It's definitely been a better season. than it has been in the last
Still
4
lost
years.
way too many than I thought we were going to.
Yeah,
Way too many.
Yeah, definitely did. I would say there's a lot that I wish we could get back, but we are where we're at. Just go handle your business. Just go handle your business. We can still do this. I don't care if we get eliminated first round in playoffs. Just get in. That's all I want. Just get in. But other than that, guys, that's all I got. Rise up.
Rise up. Robert, appreciate Cody coming on tonight. Robert, appreciate you being here, obviously. Talking Falcon football with DFU. Shout out to Philip, wasn't able to make it at night. He's still a little pissed from last night's performance, as all Falcon fans are.
Yeah.
Robert, shout outs for tonight, brother.
Shout out to you guys for letting me be a part of this. As always, it's an honor and a pleasure. And, along Cody's lines, I got to give a special shout out to Christy. She knew I was hurting last night. And, we were in bed watching the end of the game together, and she knew how disappointed I was. But, and she don't even like football. But, she tried her best to, be comforting and all that. So, sweetheart, if you're watching, I love you so much. Shout out to our new subscribers and all of our viewers. Without you guys, this isn't possible. Just recommend us. Get our viewership up. We love doing this for you guys, and even when it's tough, we're always here to state the facts, give our opinions, and we're always here for our Dirty Birds. And of course, shout out to God above for another day, and Lord, please forgive us, but. We can't utter the words, that we're pulling for the Saints, but, just let the Bucs lose and let us, handle business against Carolina. It's been a long time. We need this.
Bad.
So God, please let it happen. And of course, shout out to my kids, Brianna, Peyton, and Zach. Love you guys. Rise up.
It was so close, Falcon fans. It was so close. I was excited. I knew everybody was excited for that fourth quarter when there was 1:19 left and your Dirty Birds pull the 3 and out. They get back in field goal range, and initially you fall short of winning the game. It's tough as a Falcon fan, as we all stated, being Falcon fans for so long. It's nothing we're not used to. It's sorry to have to say that. I would say it's shitty to have to say we're used to this because – as a fan base, man, it's been too long, and it's time to get back there, and it's time to do it. But as always, shout out to them Dirty Birds, baby. We gonna support. We gonna ride. We gonna ride. We may be crying, but we gonna ride with you, Dirty Birds. It don't matter if you're winning, you're losing. We gonna rep you. DFU's gonna be there behind you 100% of the way, and hopefully this offseason, man, DFU can be at the training camp this season. They didn't have it last season, so we missed a part of that this offseason. But hopefully training camp comes back around in Flower Branch. DFU gets to get up there on the hill, get some interviews in, and watch Dirty Birds practice live. See what this team's going to be about, man. I'm already looking into the future. I don't have much hopes for the Saints against Tampa, but if it happens, Falcon fans. And your Birds could officially win the NFC South with the help of the Aints. So as Cody and Robert said, we're not going to say we're pulling for the Saints, but we're pulling for the Bucs to take a L. Shout out to Michael Penix, man. Do your thing, brother. There's some Falcon haters out there that are hating on you. There's some Falcon fans out there that are praising on you. So just look at the positive, ignore the negative, and keep pushing because I really think we've hit a gem, Falcon fans. I think Penix is the future in Atlanta, and that diamond is shining bright. Shout out to all the subscribers tonight. 3 new subscribers tonight, Falcon fans. Krista, Mama Dunn, and Tony Primetime Dunn. Shout out to everybody that subscribed over on YouTube. We cannot do this show without you guys. Those subscriptions matter. That's why we're giving you guys free Apple AirPod Pros, free signed footballs that we've had signed at training camps, free jerseys that we've gave away on the channel before. Falcon fans, we've been doing this for 2 years now. We don't ask for a single dollar. The only thing we ask for is you to support the channel, hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And we will continue to bless Falcon fans. Shout out to all the commenters tonight. The comment section went crazy. We appreciate you guys. We're at 471 on YouTube, Falcon fans. We want to hit that 500 mark before the season's over. That would initially maybe be next Sunday or if we make the playoffs even later. But let's search for that 500 subscriber mark. We're on the road to 1K, and we can't do it without you guys. Shout out to the wife in the other room watching the baby. Shout out to my little boys. Shout out to God above, man, for giving me the talent, the time, and the place to be able to come on here and do this podcast with diehard Falcon fans and diehard podcasters here on the podcast with DFU. Falcon fans, we appreciate everybody that tuned in. It's your boys, Chase, Cody, and Robert. I wish I could say Philip, but Philip is not having it tonight, Falcon fans. It's your boys from DFU. We up out of here, man. A-Town down. Let me get this banner out the way so we can peace up out of here. Wherever it went. There it is. It's your boys from DFU, man. We out of here. A-Town down. Rise up. We out.